I often get the question from employers about when final wages are due to employees and how those final wages should be made to the employees. Generally, the easiest of the rules is if the employee is terminated, the payment is due at the time of termination at the place of termination. Now, it gets a little more complicated when the employee quits. And the key issue there is how much notice the employee gave before they quit. The employee gave more than 72 hours notice, then the final wages, which includes all accrued and unused vacation, is due at the last day the employee works. Now, if the employee quits but does not give 72 hours notice, the employer then has 72 hours to make the final wages payable to the employee. Now, if the employee quits and doesn't give any kind of notice and just walks out, what's the employer to do? They should make the final paycheck, cut that, and notify the employee that under the company policies, they're counting the employee no-show as a voluntary resignation and that their final pay is available at the office for the employee to come in and pick up. There's a problem if the employers mail those checks in those circumstances. If the employee comes in to pick it up, that could trigger waiting time penalties for the employer. When the check's in the mail, the employer can't give the check to the employee if he or she comes into the office to get it. So I generally recommend that the employer just mail a letter to the employee saying the check's available at the office. They'll hold it unless they're informed otherwise by the employee to mail the check out to the employee. Now I want to talk about penalties for not making these proper payments, timely payments to the employee for final wages. The penalty that the employee is entitled to is up to 30 days of waiting time penalties, it's referred to as. Now that's 30 days at the employee's regular rate of pay as a penalty. So that's capped at 30 days. And that's referred to as waiting time penalties. And so in order to avoid any of those penalties, the employer needs to make these final payment to the employees according to these rules.